Howdy folks, Rudrose here, and today I wanted to go over some of the latest card reveals for Winterspell. I haven't actually gotten to make a video about any of these yet, so they'll all be new to me, quote-unquote, in the sense that I haven't made a video on them. I'll try to be as quick as I can. A lot of them there aren't a whole lot worth saying about, so let's jump right into it. So first we have this Mulan. We figured out its text was, whenever she quests, essentially based on her strength, God, that's annoying, you gain lore up to a maximum of 6. The most obvious place for this to go is dog. So if you buff this up with the tramp, that when you play him, you buff it up for every character. My gosh, if you played him on, let's say Lady comes out as well, just if you can get her all the way up to 6, suddenly she quests for 6, your Daisy quests for another 2, like, that's a ton of lore. So outside of that, I don't know if there's a lot of like consistent tricks to make her work. Maybe something in Ruby. Well, that's usually not a strong pairing, but very good in that tramp aggro. This, generic. I do like that art though. You have a queen in play. Oh yeah, these are the mom and dad. I mean, both are pretty boring. Uninkable. Did this need to be an unmakeable? I mean, it's evasive, I guess. Permanent evasive, but neither of those are exciting. Kanga got revealed with Rue. Boost 2. Well, there's a card under this she gets. So she becomes a 3 lore quester, which is fine, but essentially you have to invest 7 in her. So it's like, because she's basically a 5/5 vanilla stat body, but then you have to invest another 2. Obviously, you could use Rue as well to circumvent that cost, and then she's a 5 that quests for 3, which is technically overstated. Rue's interesting. I don't know where this card will go, or if it will replace something like in Blurple. Let's say you're going into your 5th turn, right? You have a Rue on the field with a Cheshire Cat. 5 ink, you use Elsa, you exert something, Elsa hits. Now, instead of having no ink left, you tuck Rue under Cheshire Cat in order to instantly use the boost effect, move the damage off Elsa. That's pretty cool. Is that better than using something like Basil? That I don't know. But I see the idea of it. Get her out there early, maybe quest a few times, and then when you're ready, you just boost her into something. So, yeah, it's a cool concept. Lilo, first time this... Yeah, a little protection effects are always nice. Sucks she's uninkable. And still the stats of a 1-drop, essentially. I guess it's technically a slightly power crept version of the old Lilo. It gets 1 more strength, but also costs double, so maybe not so much. The protection effect is nice, though, if they have to waste multiple challenges on her, so seems solid for aggro. Slushy, just evasive, uninkable, yuck. Cobra, chosen to put a character can't challenge. Again, you'd think a good card for aggro. I kind of wish he had Bodyguard as well. Maybe they thought that'd be too much. But it's very slow, as it doesn't do anything till turn 6. Yeah, whereas if it had Bodyguard, like it would have an immediate impact, and then it would help protect even more. Also uninkable. Never good. What does this do? I haven't even seen this one. During your turn, whenever an opposing villain character is banished, you may ready chosen character here. If you do that, character can't quest for the rest of the turn. A lot of health, which doesn't matter in the face of the new copper card. I mean, that's just so specific. Obviously, it makes sense with, like, the Darkwing Duck theme, but... Morgana Macabre. What does she do? Shift 4. When you play this character, move 1 damage from each characters to chosen... Oh, okay. We've had effects like this before. Yeah, that's pretty boring. And it's bad in the face of Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat can do that over and over and over again. Mushu. Terribly understated strength and willpower-wise. 3 lore is really nice. It is a straight 2 damage. Surprisingly, doesn't deal to already damaged characters. That's usually Emerald's thing. But man, uninkable hurts us so much. Yeah, I don't know. The uninkable is a lot. If he fills a very specific goal, I could see maybe seeing play, because 3 lore is still a lot. Something you have to, worry about. But other than that, you play this character. If you're carrying on in play, you may put... Okay, once during your turn, whenever a card leaves. So ideally, you probably want to use that on yourself to draw. That's so bad, though, right? So he's essentially a genie. Like, yeah, he has more strength, but he's not evasive. He doesn't have extra lore. It's a one-time trigger, and it requires another character named Anna in play. And you have to have something in your discard. You don't always have something in your discard on turn 4. Like, wow, weird. Again, why is this uninkable? I will never understand their uninkable choices other than a few cards coming up. Why is this uninkable? Like, it's so specific, and even then does whatever. This one looks like that's boost 2. When you boost, it gets 3 strength, I'm guessing. Well, there's a card under this character. He gets 3. Okay, so he's a 3/3 when you've essentially invested a total of 3 into him. Unless you've got a cheap boost. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, whatever. Uninteresting. Chenpo, just a big generic 7 cost, 7/7. Grab your bow. Banish up to 2 chosen characters with 2 strength or less. Ruby actually getting some of its removal back. The fact that it's a song is very good. It means you can play Horseman on 5. Horseman knocks out a 2 cost or 2 strength, and then he sings Grab Your Bow, knocks out 2 more. So that being a song probably helps save it from the fact that it's uninkable. When I first saw this, I was pretty underwhelmed. I was like, uninkable again? But I kind of understand that, especially at least in the going rate of Lorcana, that most removal they value to be uninkable. Medusa, Dragonfire, all those cards. It makes me a little worried that Ruby seems really keyed into this whole has to be 2 strength or less thing. So if this card becomes prominent, that's maybe a lot of characters that are just going to adapt and not do it. But there are also prominent cards in the meta this hits, right? Elsa, Genie, the Dogs deck. I mean, it's got to be really good against the Dogs deck. The Big Tramp, Lady, the other Big Tramp if they're playing the one that draws cards. Like, all of those have 2 strength, so really good way to deal with that. Yeah, seems solid. Again, this one, could it have been inkable? I mean, with the context of the other cards in Lorcana, no, I guess not, but they also are power creeping a bunch of stuff, so maybe this could have been uninkable. Maybe it was just an action it needed to be, because like Brawl's inkable, right? And Brawl hits 1 thing, and this is you're paying 2 more, and you're hitting an additional character. So that's kind of what I was basing off of, is that Brawl's inkable. But again, you can also sing this. I think the fact that's a song makes more sense that it's uninkable. Bodyguard. Is this just Dim Jim Deer? Wow, straight power crep version of Jim Deer from set 8, which isn't that long ago. They are really going hard with the power creep in this world, except the 1-drops. The 1-drops they seem to mostly be keeping the same. Thomas basically plays character, chosen character. Maybe good in aggro, especially if you do the Shift Pocahontas. I'd have to see how that deck shakes out, but an extra lore boost clearly has power there. All right, Legend Ralph. Boost 1. Each card, when this character is banished, banish all characters with strength equal to or less than the strength he had in play. So he'll always banish all 3, or he'll always banish 3s or less. Obviously, the more you boost him up, he can hit 4 or 5. You get him high enough, he can wipe the board. Someone has talked about a combo with like David Xanatos to give him rush the turn he comes in, and then you can essentially immediately. So that way, otherwise you're playing 7 for nothing. An uninkable 7 for nothing is quite bad. So perhaps Xanatos or something that gives him rush is really good. Obviously, if there's some cheap way to boost him too. There's definitely potential with this card. Given my history with Lorcana, I have a feeling it's going to be more work than it's worth, especially when more reliable combos like Prince Philip exist in the green-blue list. But maybe not. I would love to see this one actually do something, but yeah, to me, I'm guessing that even though there will be some cool combos you can pull off with him, I have a feeling it's going to be much more work than he ends up being worth. Okay, so uninkable that I understand, Wisdom of the Will. For the rest of the turn, whenever one of your character quests, draw a card. Insane card in aggro. Daisy on 1, whatever on 2, Lady into something else on 3. You have 4 characters on the board. Turn 4, yeah, you don't put any more lore pressure on, but you restock your hand by 4 cards. That's really, really good. That being said, it is uninkable, and it is entirely reliant on not only having characters, but characters that can quest. So outside of that opening start, I think this actually could be quite the brick. I'd have to see, like in a dogs deck too, though. You get a bunch of dogs. Imagine you play this and you've got, 4 or 5 characters on the field, and they just draw you 5 cards. Like, oh my God, that's so strong. Again, in the wrong situation, it's just a dead 4-cost uninkable you can't do anything with. So it will be bricky. So I don't know if that's enough to run 4 of, but man, the potential in those aggressive lists is just so high. Whenever a character here challenges another character, gain 1 lore. They've done stuff like this before. I mean, it's fine. Locations just don't excite me, especially with this card coming up. Fangmire, when you play this character, you must turn detective. I mean, it's like recycling a card from your discard. That's nice. Why is this uninkable? This only has text when you specifically are playing with detectives. And he's understated for a 5-cost. Like, we have 5-cost, 5/5s, 2 lore that are inkable. So, yes, he has a good effect, but it's already limited to detectives, and he's still overcosted for his stat. Like, why is this uninkable? That should be the title of this video. Why is this uninkable? Maybe I will I'll put that on the thumbnail. During opponent's turns, this character gains resist +2. He's kind of cool. It kind of sucks it doesn't work on your turn. Like, the 2 questing implies that, you can put him as a questing threat, and then if they have to challenge him, he gets resist 2, so that's pretty cool. They have to have 5 strength to take him out. Obviously not very good if you're behind and you have to use him to challenge. Then he's just understated and he doesn't get his bonus. But he's a cool idea, at least. I'd be curious to know if this goes anywhere. But again, it's uninkable. Did this need to be uninkable? I don't think it did. For an effect that only works half the time, I don't know. Maybe this is generic enough that it needed to be, but yeah. Interesting card. Copper, kind of Maui light / Maui stronger, depending on how you look at it. He's one more than Maui, and I do think that's going to be a bigger difference than most people think. I know a lot of people are like, oh, sweet, they just brought Maui back. But no, I mean, playing on 6 versus playing on 5 is a pretty huge difference. However, 8 strength is also an insanely huge difference too. If there was going to be any kind of location stuff this set with like the Elsa and all these frozen cards given location, this card is just going to check all of them because... I mean, with mana rotating out, is there even a location left that actually has 9 willpower that a copper won't just come down and blast away? Like, holy moly. Nice to see Mini Maui back. If I play Ruby again, I'll definitely be trying this guy out. Mickey's boring. Come out and fight. I love this art. Put all cards from under... Oh, okay, so it works with boosts to draw a card. It's an action? That doesn't seem very good. I guess, like, if you wanted to mess up someone's boosting, it would be good, but... Like, when someone boosts Cheshire Cat, very rarely are they, like, bouncing that back and getting those cards back to hand, even though I know a few decks can do that. This just seems way too specific to ever see much use. 1 cost for still not power crept. Gigi, to me, this is worse Lexington. Yes, there's an argument that, well, she won't get frozen like Lexington does, so it's better, but the fact that Lexington at least always does a return of 4 damage, I would personally rather have that than this card. And then, of course, if this card gets pinged, it can be... interacted with anyway. Yeah, it's only when she has damage, not when she's challenging. So that first one she goes in, she hits like she's Lexington, but then obviously loses it. Yeah, but personally, I still think Lexington's overall better, but maybe not. Maybe this will have a specific enough niche that it'll matter, especially if you're using cards that heal or draw. There's that new action, I think, the legendary one, and it heals. So maybe a card like this could work really well with that. Turn another chosen character of yours to your hand if you do. So it's kind of like a weird fox-goat combination. 5 again. Why is this? Does this need to be uninkable? Without another character in play, it has no effect. Granted, bouncing a character is very strong, as we learned from like Fox Snake. That is a very strong effect. So maybe this did need to be uninkable, because you get the bounce and you get the lore, and we know how insane this. Okay, this one I can maybe understand. Stegmutt. I don't even know what movie this is from. For each item card in your disco, well, it's items. That's probably already bad because items are terrible right now. So he gets cheaper. If you had 8, he'd be free. You play his character, you may put 3 from your discard on the bottom of your deck. If you do, deal 3 damage. I mean, again, kind of cool. And obviously, if you can do this for like 2, for a 7/7, that's incredible. But he's in green, which just seems to be the wrong color. I guess if you did some kind of green-blue item list, but again, items just aren't there right now. But maybe this could be one to watch in the future. Maybe they actually bring items back again. Speaking of items, banish him on good old Donald Duck. And we switch to willpower for our strength. For the 5 cost vanilla stat. Yeah, these item banish effects are always terrible, and especially when something like Tamatoa exists where he just brings it back anyway. Speaking of Tamatoa. Nani, top 4, reveal a character 2 or less, put it in your hand. That seems, again, so here's one. This is a on-curve 3, so this is just a generic 3 cost 3/3. And then it has an effect that's only a positive. Like, there's no downside. Yeah, it's kind of specific that it's got to be 2 cost or less, but... I could see this going in aggro decks, give you a little challenging power, let you dig a little deeper. Like, yeah. It's just generically good. Generically good card. Remember this character quest, put all the cards from under her into your hand. Interesting idea. If you boost her alone, gosh, imagine you play her on 4, you boost her, you've invested 6 to draw a card in quest for 1. Not really exciting. If there's a cheesy combo out there to get a bunch of cards under her, and then quest once and you draw 3 or 4 into your hand. I feel like you'd have to draw 3 or 4. Even 2 doesn't seem that. I guess it depends on what you're investing. Then that could be really cool. That's a cool idea. I'll have to see if there's any good combos with that, or if you have to do it the hard way. I don't think that's going to be worth it. Okay, again, why is this uninkable? It's a 2/4, same as this. Has 2 lore and just support. That's it, just support. I mean, it's 2 lore, but really this needed to be uninkable? I guess they thought the 2 lore was too much. Like, I don't get it. Boost 2 ward on Tamatoa. Whenever you put a card under one of your character, this character gets. So he's kind of like the shiny Tamatoa, except based on boost characters instead of on items. I imagine that won't be nearly as reliable as the item strategy was, but still, that's a neat idea at least. At least he's got warding, kind of protect himself. I'll be surprised if this sees any play. Play this item, draw a card, choose. Okay, so standard draw, discard, banish item, and you get alert at will. That's kind of nice. Yeah. I don't know. Like, is this better than just playing the Mulan body? Probably not. But again, maybe if there is some kind of item build, this seems very solid, and the alert on demand is really nice. This could actually be a really good tech card, like where you don't want to invest in alert for your deck, but it's just like kind of like Ink Runner was for some of those Sapphire lists. Just in case I need to deal with an evasive, you get a one-time deal with it. This card just seems wretched. 3 ink, then another 2. Reveal the top card of your deck. You may play it as if it were in your hand, otherwise put it in your discard. So you still have to pay for that. So imagine you reveal a 1 cost. So you've invested 3 to get this on the field. 2 more, that's 5, to reveal a 1 cost that you then still pay 1 for. So you're paying 6 ink to get the 1 cost. Obviously, if Red Blue still existed in its old form and you just have ink to spare, and he's also feeding the win condition of Tamatoa, and the other Tamatoa can play it for free, then this is a lot more appealing. But again, that list just doesn't really exist anymore. So currently, this seems absolutely terrible. Maybe it'll get better in the future. Support on demand. This is just Scepter of Arendelle, right? Yeah, literally just Scepter of Arendelle again. No buffs or anything. Huh. Negaduck. So just straight power creep Gaston from set 1. Just it's the Gaston stat without being reckless. Zootopia, power creeping the 1 cost 4 locations. Lonely Grave. Banish chosen character of yours. Put the top card of your deck under down one of your characters. You have to banish a character for that? I don't know enough of like the boost synergies. Obviously, if there's some character... Actually, you know, it could be interesting with that. Well, these cards aren't legal anymore, I'll say, but in Infinity, if you think of the old 1-drops, here we go. It'd be better for a card like this or like the 2-drop Cusco. It's just any time it's banished. So you have your Diablo, you quest with him, you use this, you banish, and then you get a free boost out of it while also getting the draw from one of your decks. Again, it's a lot of build around. I don't know if there's a worth enough payoff for that. It could help with like something like the Wreck-It Ralph, but there's at least an idea there. Inkcaster, 3 to play. Play a character with cost 5 or less for free. Pretty good. They gain rush. The end of the turn, banish them. There was a similar card like this in the past. I think it was a Madam Mim that gave stuff, and it just never saw play. I would imagine this will be similar. Again, it's uninkable. And I kind of understand the idea that it's a really big payoff, but it's still investing 6. And then granted, you invest the 3 over and over again, and you're losing a character. And while gaining rush is great, especially in a meta where there's not much rush, like this still depends on a lot of things. It depends. First of all, you have to have a character in your hand worth playing for free that you also don't mind losing. The rush only matters if there's a target for it to hit. So if it doesn't have a target to hit, then yeah, I don't know. Again, you're just adding situations on situations, which just makes cards like these not see play. But cards like these also always have some sort of combo potential. Then your turn, if none of your characters challenge this turn, chosen character of yours gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So makes it sound like an aggressive card. Could also be used for stalling board states, and then you just have neither of you wants to exert, so you just exert the one character, suddenly it's evasive. Again, did this need to be uninkable? At the end of your turn, if none of your characters challenge this turn. Like, yeah, like it's already specific. It already requires a certain amount of situations and hoops. Did this and then when you play this for 2, this does absolutely nothing. I guess technically, actually, if you quested for 1 and then you play it on 2, then that character immediately becomes evasive. That's kind of nice. Maybe okay. Again, this one maybe I could see being unequal. I think, although again with the power creep other stuff, like I think this would have been fine. This is still a specific card. Chosen character gives us +2. It's nice. That doesn't seem very good. Pledge. Oh man, when I saw this. So if you have Lilo in play, you can play it for free. That is the only benefit of this card. Which does technically mean if you have a 1-drop Lilo and you have 2, 3, 4 Pudges in your hand, on turn 1 you can go Lilo and then drop all your Pudges. And dropping 4 Pudges is really funny. However, even if you drop 1, let's say you go 1-drop Lilo, 1-drop, he's still just a 1-drop. He has the stats of Olaf from set 1, 1/3. So he's double the cost of an Olaf, and his only effect kicks in if you have not just like, this is what I've talked about with franchise stuff before. What if it was any character from Lilo and Stitch? No, it specifically has to be Lilo. Like, just why? I just don't understand that. Like, that's so specific. And why are his stats so bad for that? Because again, outside, if you don't have him for free, he's worse than Olaf. He's worse than all these 1-cost 1/3s. So that is the only situation it's worth having him in. Again, maybe if you're a high roller, you put him in the dogs deck, you get that one Lilo, you get out, again, a bunch of Pudges, and then on turn 2, you're bringing down the big Tramp because you've already got so many characters, he's reduced so much, but that's living quite the high roll life. Goofy, we've seen before, he's kind of like Prince Eric, except he has to banish himself. It's weird, it's like, couldn't it be on Quest? Like, Quest, and then if you decide to, then you can, at least you get the 2 lore out of him. Because you play him for 3, he does nothing, he's terribly statted. And then ideally, like, if you're playing this card, you're playing him for this effect. So the questing is like, why couldn't it have been when he quests, you may choose to banish him if you do banish chosen character. Yeah, because Eric would, like, always banish something regardless. So Eric could challenge in, Eric could quest on his own. Granted, Eric costs 4, but still. It's kind of, again, this is that weird instance, right? They've power crept some stuff, and then stuff like this is like, isn't this just worse than Eric? Play this character, each opponent chooses and discards a card. Stats are okay for a 6 cost. I mean, the discard is nice, especially on play, but like, God, did this need to be uninkable? It's already a 6 cost card. Cards that cost 6 should do pretty powerful effects. I don't think that would have been broken to have a 6 cost Amber card of all things. Amber, not usually known for getting up to those high ink counts, that discards a single card. Like, yeah, I don't think that need to be uninkable. Why is this uninkable? There's a theme again. Maui. Thank God we got Copper, because this card is an insult. Oh, man. Again, why is this uninkable? Because they overvalue the Rush keyword is why. Like, nearly every card with Rush is uninkable, but just not good. Li Shang, so he becomes a 4/5 attacker. We've had cards like this. Boring. Eeyore, thanks for noticing me. For each exerted character in play, play 1 less. That includes yours and your opponent's. When you play him, for each opposing player, you may choose a character of theirs, so he freezes something on entry. So to make the Pooh Honey Wizard, there has to be 4 exerted characters in play, and that's a lot. And actually, if you think about it, well, no, I guess let's see. If it goes to your turn, let's say they have 2 exerted, then you quest with 2. And then he becomes a 5. And then he's just a Pooh Honey Wizard with an additional freeze, which is okay. Like a freeze, it's not an exertion, it's just the freeze. I like the freeze effect. I like the Ana effect from the Blurple card, but that's just, you gotta get him that low. Now, if you can get him even lower than that, like let's say a 2 cost, 5/5 for 2 that freezes something, that feels pretty good, but is that going to be reliable? No. And usually inconsistency means cards don't stay play. Pua. This is just Artemis from set 1, the owl. Yeah, interesting the 1-drops don't get power crept. John Smith's Compass. At the end of your turn, if a character yours challenges turn, banish this item. At the end of your turn, if they didn't challenge, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a character with cost 3 or less, or its name Pocahontas, put it in your hand. Otherwise, put it at the bottom of your deck. Okay, cool idea. And again, it's inkable. The fact that this is inkable, okay, maybe I can build something around this. Let's build an aggressive deck around this. I don't want to challenge. I'm just going to quest, and then I'm getting value back every turn for questing. Granted, I'm giving up a tempo on the board if I play this right on turn 3, but still, there's something there. And the character doesn't even have to quest, right? They just can't challenge. So this actually makes this a decent draw later in the game. If I have nothing on board and I have this in hand and I top deck a 1-drop, I play the 1-drop, pass, and I still get to look for another card. Like, okay, there's an idea here, and it's inkable as it should be. I like this card. That's cool. We'll try to build around it. If this character is exerted and none of your character's challenges turn, gain 1 lore. Okay, so it's essentially a Simba from set 1 without the bodyguard, but also essentially says if he quests, he basically quests for 2, assuming no one challenged. That's okay. That's solid. This John Smith I love. This is such a cool card. Bodyguard, and then it's, we call this in FFTCG, or I don't remember if they call this in Magic too, but a magnet. I just call this a magnet card, as people are forced to choose it for actions and abilities. But perfect. This game has needed this kind of a card for a long time. Again, did this need to be uninkable? It's a new idea / mechanic, as we've only ever had Bodyguard before, so maybe this will prove strong enough that the uninkability makes sense, but that could also hurt it. But yeah, if you have a card worth protecting, I kind of like the idea of an Infinity in like green steel, and you do this to protect Diablo. But yeah, we'll see if the uninkable holds it back or not. But cool card. And again, quest for 2, so if they ignore it, he gets to sit there and add some lore. Play a side immune to top card of your deck. You may put... Okay, so it's like ramp on an item. So it's essentially Mickey Detective just on an item. If it's Darkwing Duck. And then it's got a bit of a heal. Yeah, again, unless it's worth it to play items, I would imagine Mickey's just better because it's the same thing and it's on a body, which has lore attached to it. But again, unless there's some Darkwing, that's just absolutely worth getting that effect for. When you play this character, put a card from chosen player's discard and bother. Not very good. Ling. Chosen character gets +1 this turn. That's actually kind of interesting. Quest for 2. So he's essentially a Prince Philip, the 3-drop stat-wise. It's flipped. No ward. But similar to the, what was the Akia from this past set, where there's no limit to this. So you can do this. And it's not just itself. That's kind of one of the bad things about that Aquila, was that he could only do it to himself. This, you can buff something else. You could buff your Wreck-It Ralph. You could buff your Mulan, right? This gives your Mulan a bunch of, you put your Mulan on 2, your Ling on 3, turn 4, you pump 4 ink into the Mulan, and then she quests for 5. Like, okay, yeah, cool. There's an, oh my cow, an idea. That's cool. Once during your turn, whenever cards put in your equal, look top. We've had kind of scry effects like this. Yeah, not very good. Annie's understated. This effect is, yeah. Darkwing Duck, Rush, not uninkable. That's surprising. Wow. A card with Rush that's not uninkable. Only hits for 2, so it's a super goof. It's like a super goof that's 1 cheaper, but doesn't get you the 2 lore, which was the whole point of super goof. So, I mean, it doesn't seem, and it got stat-wise, it's only 1 less than Elsa. Granted, I know she costs 2 more. I mean, if we're really desperate for Rush, maybe we will play this, but it doesn't seem very good for its cost. You play this character, I don't know, maybe it helps deal with aggro, though. It does clean up a lady on turn 3. Maybe. We'll see. He's inkable, so it gives up a chance. When you play this character, chosen character gains a face till its turn next. Okay, we've had cards like this. Tinkerbell. I mean, that's fine. Nothing exciting. Chosen character, it's if you have a character, you get 2. So obviously Darkwing has some like item builds. I don't think any of those are going to be enough to worth building around, but again, we haven't seen the full package yet, so maybe they will be. On its own, though, I don't think you're going to spend 1 ink, 4 total ink just to shrink something. And Sapphire Coil still exists, so... Challenger +3 doesn't replace itself as an action. This won't see any play. Item enters play exerted. Banished chosen item. Chosen opposing character gets -2 this turn. If this didn't have to get banished, I could actually see this seeing some play, but again, because it's cool that it hits both items and affects characters, but and you can't even use it till the turn after it plays. Which I like the theme of it. Oh, you set this trap and haha, I gotcha. But maybe in an infinity list. Of course, they already have so many great items to pick from. Banished chosen character viewers play character with cost 2 more than the banished character for free. 1, and you don't have to banish the item. Okay, well, that's interesting. So you can use this over and over again. Invest 4. Again, let's say you banish this Diablo, and then you can play a 3-drop for free. There's no restriction. You can banish a Hades, bring in Prince Philip for free in blue-green. Granted, you're getting rid of your own character, so like you'd have to really be okay with getting, and you have to have a character that's worth putting in over them. But there's an idea here. There's definitely, and it's inkable. Deal 1 damage to chosen damage character. Full force. Banish chosen location. Isn't this just a better version of the potion? This is a bit different. So potion, it puts a damage counter on anything. This one only, it deals damage, which means it's effective or resist, and it has to already be damaged. Okay, so that is different enough. It doesn't seem very good. And Potion didn't even see any play. Rapunzel, when there's character quest, if there's a card art chosen, can't challenge. I mean, that's kind of cool. Expensive if you have to pay a full 5 for it, but she can continuously shut off a challenge, which is really good if you're ahead, and then like they can only get 1 character out a turn. Okay, could be. Again, did it need to be uninkable? I don't think so. I think this absolutely could have been inkable. Again, I would have taken worse stats, I think, over it being uninkable, but still, I like the idea. Plays character, move up to 1 damage. Okay, so it's like a mini Cheshire Bell. Not very exciting. Evasive. If this character is exerted, choose and discard a card or banish. Okay, why? So let's compare this to Pegasus. Both cost 1. Both have 1/1 stat line. Both are evasive. Now, Pegasus is inkable, this one is not, and he gets 1 extra lore. I think that alone would have been fine. Hey, it's like Pegasus, but you're trading the inkability and the potential shift target, which of course they didn't bring back, for a lore. That's fair. That's very fair on its own. Yep, you lose the inkability, but you get 1 extra lore. Why does he then also have this extra effect that if he is exerted, which of course he needs to be questing, you have to discard a card? Like, that's a big penalty, especially I'm assuming you want this to be an aggressive card. If you're throwing cards, you can't afford to do that. Why? It's make this inkable. Make this inkable. Oh, wow, it's inkable, evasive, and an extra lore. It's just better Pegasus. Oh, wait, but it has this ability downside. Like, pick one. Either have the ability downside, and it's inkable, or you have the uninkable, but then there's no ability downside. Like, it's just, I don't understand why this is that much worse. Unfortunate. Pocahontas. Quest, gain lore equal to another chosen exerted character's lore. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It's normal stats for a 2 cost. You could argue understated nowadays, like Black Heron is a 3/3 nowadays. Again, did this need to be uninkable? Don't get me wrong, there's clearly potential there. And it's either your character's or theirs, which is nice. It's just any chosen exerted character. So at minimum, assuming you have another like character, like let's say Miko is quested, she quests, and then so she gains 1 lore plus 2 from Miko. That's 3. That is pretty good, assuming you have a card with 2 lore. So again, okay, maybe I can kind of see why that was uninkable. It's still a bit. It still requires an exerted character, but I guess because it affects both you and your opponent, maybe this is okay. And it's a hero and a prince. Okay, this one I can kind of see the idea behind. I'm actually curious to try this card out. I wonder if there's a good Amethyst aggressive build with this. This is a blank. Piglet's blank. Colors of the Wind. Top card of their deck. Draw a card for each different ink type of. So the most you can. I think this card's terrible, right? You know, I like the. So assuming you both reveal 2 different ink colors, then it's friends on the other side that cost 1 more, which sucks. If you reveal the same, then it only draws 1. So at its worst, it always draws 1. At its maximum, if you both reveal multi-ink cards that are of different ink colors, then you draw 4, which is obviously really good, but I don't think that's going to happen very often. And you could be, even if I'm playing green-blue and my opponent's on green-purple and we both reveal the green card, I've just spent 4 or sung for 4 to get a single draw. So, cool idea. And again, it's thematic. Oh, the colors of the wind, get it. But, I don't think that's going to be consistent enough to see play. If you feel like you could consistently get 2, maybe folks are okay seeing it, but then it's just worse friends. I don't know. Each player shuffles a deck, reveals the top card, reveal a character card, may play that character card for free. Otherwise, any character reveals that. But it helps your opponent. Well, I mean, it lives up to its name. Let's get dangerous, right? Yeah, this is not my type of card. I'm not taking that risk. If you're a high roller and yep, I'll hit my 9-drop, 8-drop, whatever, and they're going to hit the 1-drop, then I guess good for you. Keep going for it. Pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn, and you draw a card, replaces itself. It's a song, so you could Lady on 3, turn 4. Gosh, imagine this with the... What was the Whispering Willow one up above? What was the Grandma Willow card? Did I miss it? Where'd it go? Wisdom of the Willow. So you do Lady on 3. You've got 4 characters on board. Then you have your Lady sing this. And then you can play another character. Or, well, this is only when they quest. So actually, I guess it doesn't synergize with that. Still, nonetheless. Again, it didn't need to be unequal. It is a song. I guess it makes more sense when it's a song because it can potentially be free. Songs make a little more sense on. Interesting. Yeah, I'll be curious to see if this pops up in aggressive list. Chosen character gets +5 strength this turn. That's a lot of strength. Doesn't replace itself, though. So usually cards like this don't see play. We'll see about this one. Marshmallow. So Pooh Honey Wizard, except uninkable. Blat. Each opponent can't ready more than 1 of their characters at the start of their turn. But I'm assuming they get to pick. Okay, that's interesting. It's still a 5 cost that does nothing the turn you play it. And God, it's uninkable. That is a pretty strong effect, though. If they have a board of 6 characters and they only get to bring 1 up, that is very powerful. So, again, I can kind of see why this one is uninkable, even if it is very slow. But some people have pointed out very strong with Demona. You drop this on 5, Demona comes in, exerts her entire board on 6. he quests, and now they can only get one thing. Like, the fact that Demona exists actually might make this card kind of dumb. We'll have to see how much that combo pops up. When you play this character, turn an item from your discard to your hand. If items were a thing, maybe. Percy. Oh, no, he's a popsicle. Now he looks so cold. He can't challenge. Okay. I mean, this might be a good aggressive card. Like, think of the Bolt, except the Bolt always came in exerted. Yeah, you don't get 4 lore, but still 4 health, 3 lore. Who cares if he can't challenge? Like, that's not what you're using him for anyway. Interesting. I wonder if he'll show up in these aggressive lists. And like a dogs list too, and he's a dog. Not that that really matters. Naveen's a blank, 5 cost 7/6. Crazy how high stats you're getting. Oh, there is a Tiny Tim. Morty Fieldmouse. His name is Morty? It's not Tiny Tim? Once during your turn, whenever you put a card under one of your characters, put the type. Oh, so he gets a free boost for each card under him. Okay. So again, if you have some kind of boost synergy, maybe you can get him up to a really high lore count. Again, I don't know how much that's worth investing into, but there's at least something there. And again, at his worst, he's a generic 3 cost, so. Rafiki's Bakura Staff. Draw a card, then choose a discard. So you get that effect repeatedly. Banish this item, deal 1 damage to chosen character. Okay, why is this unequal? Yes, it's repeatable, but you're investing 3 ink to not even get card advantage. Yeah, it helps you scry, but. And 1 day. Okay, I don't think that needed to be uninkable. I wouldn't play this if it was inkable. Lumpy, yeah, just a generic body. This character just. Simba's okay. Stats of a 1 cost, but sometimes that strength reduction can help it was nice on the, what's the hamster's name? Rhino. Snowfort characters. Oh, it's just a generic field effect. Okay. Okay, hold up. Let me cook. I kind of like this. So generic, it's like they're all at the Hidden Cove for half the amount. And then during your characters... Okay, so there could be something here with an aggressive list. Not only do they take less damage, they hit back harder. Okay, again, this... I see why this is uninkable, because it's just a blanket effect. It's always an effect. The strength is always there, and it's an item, so it's hard to deal with. Cool. That's a neat card. I'm excited to try and build with that. +1 lore. So a 2 cost, 1/4 for 2. Okay. Sucks it goes away the moment she takes damage, but that's alright, I guess. Plays character, tells character they do the quest. Oh, okay, so he's like a LeFou, just on a bigger body. Yeah, those cards usually always crap up here and there, so... It's just your generic 5 cost vanilla, but it actually has a decent effect. The free ready protection is very nice. Ward for challenging. Ward, but having 1 health means he gets taken out by a malicious means scary. That's unfortunate. Your characters and locations in your inkwell face downing. Any number of cards. Oh, from under your characters. So that kind of sounds like, what was that old ramp Sapphire card, Friend Like Me? That sounds like this. I mean, I appreciate their support in the boost with all these cards, but I need to see the payoff for it before I'm personally convinced. End of your turn, remove up 2 damage from each of your characters. Haven't we had cards like this? Isn't this just Jasmine? Except I guess he doesn't have to quest, so you can just play him on 5 and it's an instant heal. I guess that's technically better. But still, these effects have never really shown any sign of hanging around. If opposing character is banished in a challenge this turn, draw a card. Oh, but he's got to exert for it. So he can't be used in the challenge. He can't quest. That's kind of weird. Like, why? What? Tie that to the challenging or the questing. That's weird. Just alert. There's a 2/1. I guess that's basically the happy from the 1 cost Steel Dwarf, except worse because can't be used with Dumbo. Alert. This had to be an ink. I mean, he's a 6 for. I guess he's kind of high statted and can challenge evasives, but darn. Keep the ancient ways. So apparently there's you can kind of infinitely lock people out of items or actions with this in Infinity if you're using like the Muses Max Goof combo and have the Max Goof just sing it over and over again. Muses bounces a max, replays it, which is probably a bad thing for the game. However, you know, if it means beating up on those Sapphire decks that just get to play items willy-nilly and play Solitaire from turn 3 onwards, I think I'm okay with that. As far as outside of Infinity, I don't know. I mean, no one's playing items. It's Pete, just not on a body, and Pete hasn't seen as much play these days. Granted, if you have something like the Max Goof, you can try to repeat it a little bit, but I don't know how much play this is going to see in non-Infinity. This is the card I was thinking of earlier for like the Broom and the Chernabog, because you could banish them, drop her on 4, use their effect, and then they go right in your inkwell and draw you a card. That's pretty sweet. Minnie Mouse, just, this is the new stat line for a vanilla 2 cost. Stitch, Gauge Reckless. That's kind of neat. It's like a little mini John Silver. Might be too squishy for that to matter, because presumably they'll just take him out. But it's kind of a neat effect to have on such a much cheaper card. Vanderchill. Exert chosen opposing character. So kind of like an Elsa. Well statted, 1 turn early, but it's uninkable, so probably not going to see play. Maybe, if you just really need more exertions, maybe you will see this one. But again, that uninkable really hurts it. Although they do really value that exert effect, and because this is so well statted for a fork, I kind of see it, but could it have been uninkable? Maybe, I don't know. Todd's kind of interesting. So you either gain a lore, so essentially always quest for 3, or any character can get evasive for a full turn, gets kind of the Maui fishhook protection. Works on himself too, so essentially a genie that's questing. He becomes a genie every turn. Doesn't get the immediate draw effect that genie has, but he's inkable, so he's cool. Maybe a little too slow, because he's still 4 cost, it does nothing. Taran. I don't overly care about this effect unless there's cards that are absolutely worth tucking away, which you could argue against like the Dog Circle of Life deck where they try to load up their discard. Maybe he's good against it, but it's a rush. And in a game where we're lacking for rush cards, again, I don't love that he's uninkable, but with so few rush in the game, maybe this will see some play because of it. And I'm going to stop there. There are some other cards that I haven't gotten to yet, some of the legendaries, but I'll probably do a separate video after the entire set is revealed on just the legendaries, maybe the super rares. I would like to talk about the underdog mechanic in a more detailed video, but yeah. So that's all I've got for now. Let me know what you think. If there's some that am I missing some combos that I glanced over? You're like, actually, this card's busted because you can do this crazy combo with it. Or there's some maybe I evaluated highly that you're like, nah, I think that card's terrible. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you watching so much. And until next time, take care.